Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Jayster Show. My name is Jordan Eaton. I'm Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Wikibulls Gaming. So tonight we're going to be talking about music and how music can affect gaming, but also in everyday society as well. I've got the perfect person to speak about music this week. I'm going to bring my good friend in. He's called Revelation, or Paddy Arnold. How are we, Paddy?
Hey, hello, I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
Not too bad, my friend. So give us a bit of an introduction about yourself, who you are, what you do, that sort of stuff, how we know each other, that sort of stuff.
So I'm Paddy. I've been in the Wolves since February. I've gone through content, and I'm now the recruitment manager for the team. I quite enjoy a wide variety of games, and I'm a big music fan, which is why I'm on today. And I'm just looking forward to having a nice chat, really, about music.
Brilliant. So obviously the reason I've got you in is because you're a bit of a musician yourself, which is obviously you can see he's got a guitar behind him. So tell us like what sort of stuff you play as a musician.
So I've done quite a few things musically. I've been in a couple of bands. Done quite a few gigs with bands before. I haven't done anything as a band recently. But it is something that I am actively looking to get back into, but it's trying to find the right people to do it. You need a good level of commitment, especially if you want to go out on tour and things like that. You've got to have dedicated people, otherwise it falls apart and it doesn't work. I've been in so many bands before that, we're just practicing in someone's garage or someone's house, and that's it. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't get any further.
A shed band, as they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So musically wise, I write a lot of metal or rock. But over the years it's sort of adapted. Sometimes it's a bit lighter, sometimes it's quite heavy. It's dependent on just how I am at the time when I am writing.
It depends on your mindset with obviously writing music, I guess.
Exactly.
But not just from a music standpoint, you've got quite a bit of a history within the music industry with certain bands and certain individuals.
Yes. I know quite a lot of artists, and I was part of a music promotion company in my local town for a while before that folded. I've met quite a few bands like Unearth, Sepultura, Funeral for a Friend, Skindred. Just to name a few. One of my old bands, after I left, actually had Benji Webb, the singer from Skindred, featuring one of their videos.
Wow.
So yeah, that was really exciting. I wish I was still a part of the band at that point, but it's just nice to see that happened.
Yeah.
So, and I know a few people. I know a few session musicians, and I know probably the biggest one at the moment being Carl Dawkins, who's based in London. He's a big session musician in London. There's a lot of bass for a lot of people, but he also has a band as well called A Murder of Secrets. So I'm hoping to get back in contact with him soon to help me sort of finish off my solo album that I'm working on at the moment.
Yeah.
Because I play bass, but to the standard that I need it for the album, I just can't do it myself.
You need next level sort of.
Yeah, I need someone that's just on point, knows what they want to do for the music that's already there.
Yeah.
So it was probably the biggest person that I actually met and was like almost fangirling over was the drummer from Killswitch Engage.
Wow.
He came to my hometown. He was the fill-in drummer for Unearth for the tour, and I
fill-in
drummer. But what a drummer to have for a tour to sort of fill the slot for the time.
Yeah.
I got to have a good chat with him, and I was just I love you in Killswitch. You're one of my favorite drummers. We had a good chat. We ended up drinking a little bit too much whiskey, and then we tried to go out into town. And then the tour manager was just there like, no, none of you guys are going out into town drinking. We've got to get on the coach. We've got to get up to Newcastle for a gig tomorrow. you're getting on the coach. You're not going anywhere. So that was a little bit annoying that we didn't get to go out on the piss.
Just imagine going.
Yeah,
you'd be meshed, mate. You'd be yeah.
You'd be so hyped. Just
it'd be cool.
Damn straight. So yeah, I've met quite a lot of musicians as well.
So when you're meeting the musicians, apart from music, what would you say the one trait is that every person you speak to, everybody's different, and we know that.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that you say relates the most with them all? Like, is there some people that have? Do you know what I mean? Are they all genuine? Go on.
9 times out of 10, most of them are really chill, and they're just genuine, down to earth people, and they're there to provide music, and they're there for the love of music. That's how they see it. There's a band I went and saw in January before lockdown started, a band called Wage War Headlines. So I turned up to this gig completely blind. I never heard any of the artists before. My friend was like, I'm buying you a ticket. You need to check these guys out. I was like, okay. And I just kept putting it off. And then on the day, my mate was like, have you listened to any of them? I was just like, no, I'm just going to go in blind and just see what the night's like.
Yeah.
It was absolutely fantastic. But the lead singer for Wage War, he said, I just love that everyone's come here for the love of music, and they're just here to enjoy themselves and have a good night. And it just spoke absolute mountains to me, because it was such a great night, and I was literally there for the love of music. No other reason to go other than that.
Like, one time that resonated with me, obviously you said friends with the love of music. Recently, a friend of mine got me into a band, as we know. So Ashen, who is our content creator, general manager now, recently got me into a band called Dreamcatcher. And they're not Rev's forte.
Not at all.
But they're decent. We'll put it that way.
They're talented.
They're very talented. So, but the thing is, you've got to think about how much music is adapted now. You look at it from a standpoint, these are supposed to be K-pop. Yeah? They're supposed to be a K-pop group, but listen to the riffs in the back. It's orgasmic. Like some of the... Obviously, you have Ju singing lead, and...
Of course, you would bring up Ju first.
Yes, but the music in the background, obviously, in any sort of music, apart from pop, I think there's a love of all music. Right now, I think pop's getting a lot of slating, but you look at K-pop, you look at J-pop, you look at alternate, you look at heavy metal, you look at thrash metal, you look at death metal, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is, there's a love of music somewhere on that spectrum, apart from pop music. And I think it was Corey Taylor, the lead singer of Slipknot, said it best. There are so many more talented people. There are so many more talented artists because they literally make the music themselves. It's not a computer doing it. So yes, Ariana Grande might be the most talented singer on the planet, but it's all computerized, in my opinion. It's all auto-tuned. What's your take on that? What's your take? Obviously, you're a musician.
I have a lot of respect for pop artists that are out there. They're actually making the music themselves. It's like a lot of indie bands. I'm quite into it. A lot of indie bands as well. Massive Killers fan, Kings of Leon, things like that. Foo Fighters. These are the guys that go out there. They write all of their music. Even Ed Sheeran. I'm not a massive Ed Sheeran fan, but I've got a lot of respect for him because he is super talented. Because at probably up until about 2 years ago, if he wasn't singing it, he was writing it. And then other artists were taking his songs and using them as their own. It's changed a little bit more in the past couple of years. He sort of slowed down a little bit with his music, and he's looking to get into acting now. Game
of Thrones.
So he's people like that. It's like a lot of people don't know that Johnny Depp is a fantastic musician.
I've seen his guitar work, and he is
Yeah, well,
ridiculous.
this is a guy that's did guitar for an album for Marilyn Manson.
Wow.
This is a guy that has his own club in LA, and big bands go over there, just hop up on stage, start doing a set just randomly, and then
Is it
he just jumps up on stage with him. It's like, give me the guitar.
is it true that he actually did a show with Alice Cooper?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, he did. He is extremely talented, and not overly a lot of people know. Like big Johnny Depp fans will know, but sort of people are like, "Oh, I know him from Pirates of the Caribbean and Edward Scissorhands and things like that." They just know him as an actor. They don't know the full picture. So people like that as well. But coming back to the pop thing, a lot of pop nowadays has a lot of hidden meaning in it.
Yeah.
And it's less about the music and more about the message they're trying to put across.
It's the modern day emo.
Yeah. And it's just with some artists, I find there's quite a bit of propaganda in. Other artists, I find they're there just to sell sex, and it's and as an uncle to a 12-year-old, and she's listening to some of the songs, I'm there like, you should not be listening to this.
And it's broadcasted on radio, it's broadcasted on TV, and it's seen as the new norm. And it's like, and they wonder why there's so many people under the age of 16 getting pregnant.
Yeah,
there's your answer.
Exactly. And then you look at Canada. Canada's like charts are mainly dominated by indie bands, rock and metal. They don't push the pop as far. And for my personal opinion, I know a lot of people won't agree with me with this, but I think that's something we should be doing over here. We should be giving bands, no matter what they are, a bit more of a platform to get themselves noticed. A big one being Bring Me the Horizon. They were a massive deathcore band back in the day.
They've started actually softening up a bit.
They softened quite a lot. You listen to Medicine and Mother Tongue and songs like that. They're like really quite light, and it's quite popular. And I think their record label sort of pushed them a bit to go to that, which is fair enough. And the musical,
it's nice to have a change. It's nice to have a change. I remember in 2010, obviously back then I was a big wrestling fan. I was into Motorhead. I was into all that sort of stuff. Typical, you know what I mean? We're talking 10 years ago. I would have been 14. And I was always washing up on a Sunday, and it was the radio, Sunday's number one. And I'd be stood there at the sink washing up, and I remember this one rock band that got to number one. And it's normally unheard of for them to get to number one. And it was Shinedown.
Yeah.
And me and my mum actually was sat there and we was like, to this day, that is mine and my mum's song. It sounds corny, it sounds cheesy, say what you want, but we love that song. And that is a song. She was do you know what I mean? She's a big fan of all her music. I'm a fan of my heavier stuff and Dreamcatcher. But that is just one song that we connect on. And do you know what I mean? Like, and it was the song Second Chance, which was to me one of the best songs of 2010, in my opinion. Because it was different, it was slow, but also it had that beat where it come in, and it literally you wanted more afterwards. And and then I think it was a few years later they Expendables 2 or 3, and they did Diamond Eyes, and that went to number one because of the film. And it's nice. And then obviously Foo Fighters started getting into the top 10, and Kings of Leon, obviously Sexy on Fire. You had more bands coming through, but now it's starting to slope off again. And I think it's just a case of we need to get them bands back, because it was different. You listen to all the top 50 songs on the pop, and I guarantee they all sound exactly the same. Whereas
All
back
fairly
then,
similar, yeah.
yes, exactly. Back then, there wasn't that. It was all different. Like, number one, you'd have Shine Down, Second Chance. Number two, you'd have Christina Aguilera, Genie in a Bottle. It'd be like,
Yeah. It was,
you know,
it
totally
was
different.
a lot more variety
Yeah.
to listen to. So like if I'm listening to the radio at work, I'm just saying like, oh, I'm not going to listen to my playlist. I'm just going to listen to the radio. I'll go on Absolute Music and I will choose either 90s or noughties.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I wouldn't listen to anything else. Maybe occasionally 80s, but sort of from the 10s to now, it's just, you can tell the progression. It's just more popular people based.
So the question I've got for you is, you're a gamer, I'm a gamer. What sort of songs do you listen to while you're gaming?
So it is very game dependent. If I'm playing like League of Legends or Valorant and it's quite intense, I need to have something sort of heavy in my face. So I listen to a lot of metal, or I'll stick on drum and bass. So it's a lot of hype, keeps my intensity going, and it makes me want to concentrate more. If I'm playing something a bit more casual, yesterday I bought Euro Truck Simulator 2, so it was going to come up. It was going to come up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be playing that, and I'll probably be listening to sort of like chill out. Or
no, you're not. You're going to be listening to Eddie Storbart's Daddy album, like, you know what I mean, that was released on Father's Day, like 2007.
So I'll be listening to, so maybe a little bit chill out, maybe a bit of country as well. Get that
Journey, Don't Stop Believing. While you're driving down a road in Germany.
Convoy. Actually, one of my favorite artists. He's done quite a few different albums. He's done a full country album, so that's like the sort of thing that I'd put on. And he's done a full chill out album, and I'll listen to that while I'm gaming, just to chill out a bit and get away from reality just for a little while. But then, other than that, not much else. Sort of while I'm at work, I've got playlists, and it's got all different type of music. Like, I'm quite big into my rap as well. I've actually got a rap out on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes and that. And it wasn't something that I planned on doing, but I wrote the lyrics first, and the lyrics came out, and the way it spoke to me, I was just like, this has got to be a rap.
Yeah.
And otherwise it just not, I don't feel it's going to get a true reflection of the song. So I recorded it, and then I wasn't completely happy, and then I left it for a little while. About 6 months later, I rewrote the lyrics slightly, re-recorded it, and then it was there, and then I just didn't have the confidence to put it out because it was not something that was really me at the time, especially. And then, was it nearly 2 years ago now? I just bit the bullet. I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to put it out there, and put it out. Changed it ever so slightly, so it was a bit more current to the time period. And then I was just like, wow, you know, I've got a song out there that's for people to listen, and I've had a lot of good feedback from it as well, which makes me a bit more confident with my writing as well.
You've got to think about it. Like, once you put something, we're talking about, like, music it's a multi-billion-pound industry, and you're gonna have, and it's worldwide. There is some sort of music. Like, in every culture, there is some sort of music. So you think about it, you having that guts to, like, we're in the gaming organization. You can just literally just click stream, and you don't care, because all you're doing is playing a game. When you're talking about music, you're putting yourself on that paper. You're putting yourself into what you do and what you create. It's like somebody writing a story. Okay, when they release that book, they're very so. When you've got like some people that are writing like that, what is it? 50 Shades of Grey. Do you know what I mean? People like that, they think about it for years because they're like, how am I going to be perceived? And with you doing that, people might get the totally wrong message. And some artists have done it in the past. They've wrote about one thing and it's been perceived in another direction, which has given them a lot of hate. Nickelback being one of them.
Yeah.
But that's going to take a lot of guts to put it out there for the full public instead of just sending it to your friends, sending it to your family, saying, "Here's my new track, have a listen." You've actually took that one step further and you've put it out to the public. So massive respect for that. Myself, I like what you said about the different games because not everybody has one playlist. If you do have one playlist, you're a bit weird.
Yeah.
I'm only messing. But when I was competing, obviously my background is I competed in COD and I also played darts as well on the side just to get away from gaming.
Yeah.
I had 5 or 6 different ones. I had ones that would be hyped. So you're talking everything from Scooter to, you know what I mean, the proper happy hardcore, let's go, Sunny D, that sort of stuff, just to hype me up. If I was out the night before, because practically I probably was, and I had a competition the next day, I'd need to have a Lucozade and I'd need to hype myself up, and that was the one. But there was also ones when you was in a tournament you needed to chill, so it was just like your Montgomery Gentry. Do you know what I mean? Very good. Probably people have never heard of him, and there was like a metal country band. Until one of the lead singers unfortunately passed away. But they was class and they was very chilled. They were. I found one of their songs by accident. It was called "Where I Come From," and it was very, very, very chilled, and it was very good to listen to. It had a good beat, but it was like, you know what I mean? You just sit there just bobbing your head. But then you had ones where you play zombies, and if you remember Black Ops Zombies, you have to have Dope, Die, Mother, Die. That was brilliant. You've got a lot of songs that can hype you up. You've got a lot of songs that can chill you out. But it's good. It's a good aspect. So from a music standpoint, obviously, with you being an artist, what would you say is your favorite band of all or song of all time?
For band / artist, for me it has to be Gavin Townsend. He's done so much in his career. He started off in 1993 being this nobody that no one had ever heard of, and then one guy gave him a chance, and fortunately for him, this guy was Steve Vai.
Wow.
So he appeared on the 1993 Sex and Religion album. He'd done some guitar and he'd done a few vocals on some of the tracks as well, and that was that. His career took off straight away. For me, technically, he is one of the all-time best vocalists. His range is absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
He can go from a G2, which is one of the lowest notes you can hit, to an F7 sharp, which is one of the highest notes that a man can hit. And to have that sort of range is ridiculous. Like, I've got a decent range. I can do my lows, I can harmonize myself, or I can harmonize someone else, but to just do like some high vocals, it doesn't sound good on its own. It needs to be blended in. Whereas you listen to him and all of a sudden he's there going, like proper high, and just say like, how are you that good and being able to play guitar at a ridiculously high standard and do that live?
That's a good aspect actually that you said, do that live. There's a lot of bands out there now that can't do it live because it's, again, computerized.
But you listen to his like album, his studio albums, and you go, this is absolutely fantastic. I don't think it could get better. And then you go and watch him live, and you watch him play those songs. You're like, okay, this got better. How have you done that? Like, it's just
live has a good feel to it though. Like, I'm into a band at the moment called Beast in Black, and that guy's the notes that he can hit. It reminds me of what's the best way of phrasing this? His voice is that powerful. It's like he should be singing opera.
Yeah.
But he's in a rock band, and they did a cover of Fleetwood Mac, Sweet True Lies.
I remember you showed me this, yeah.
His voice is incredible.
It's so good.
And I watched it live. I was like, I don't normally watch bands live unless I'm watching a concert. And it's like, right, I'm gonna force myself to watch it. I watched it and I was stunned because he can literally do the basic, you know what I mean, and then he can switch and he can hit them super high notes.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, wow, the guy blows your mind. Yeah. But for me, they're probably not my favorite. My favorite artist is Pink.
Yeah.
The amount of time she's reinvented herself and she's produced quality tracks. Like you think of some of Pink's tracks. You've got You in Your Hand. You've got Funhouse. You've got Just Like a Pill, which to me is probably one of the best songs of the century.
Yeah.
You've got So What. You've got Raise Your Glass. You look at the transition. She started out as a rock chick. Then she transitioned into a bit of a pop phase, and now she's back into that bit more rocky, alternate sort of trance, and she is such a good singer.
I have a lot of respect for her as well because she's quite active in the actual music writing as well. If she doesn't like it, she'll tell them. She's like, I don't like it. I'm not going to use that. This is how I want it. If we can't do that, then I'm not going to be on this track.
Yeah.
And everyone folds. They fold every time because she knows what she's doing. She's been in the industry 20, 25, 26 years now.
25, 26 years.
Yeah. She knows what she's doing. But then, you look at Gwen Stefani as well. She's reinvented herself a couple times. Where she was in No Doubt before, bit more of a rock, indie, reggae, scary band.
Yeah.
And then she went out and did her own thing and was doing a bit more popular music, but it's still good. She's very talented. And a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me, Gwen Stefani. I'll be there.
I think the one band that resonates with me is just because of the sheer aspect of all different types of music being transitioned into one. And I genuinely, when I sat down and the person in particular, Samson, who's the president and chief operating officer of Wicked Wolves, he was like, Jordan, you need to listen to this. You need to listen. And he sat me down and he played it, and it was Amarith. The fact that they've got 3 different type of vocalists, you've got like a female, just generic singer who is ridiculous, by the way. You've got the Bon Jovi style soft rock, and then you have the thrash. And I was like, there is no way this is going to work. And then I heard Hunger. And I've been a fan since. Like
the blend is so good.
They've changed their lead male singer because Jake didn't. He went to do some other stuff. They brought in some new guy. He's had a bit of stick because of people just think he's a bit OTT. He's a bit out there. He's a bit over the top, and people don't like him. But I still think he's got an amazing voice, and I think he's a good fit, and he works well with Elise Reed because her voice is powerful. And he just needed somebody to have a bit more. He can be annoying on the videos, like he's proper OTT, but you've got to think that Jake stepped away, and obviously Jake was with them right from the beginning. So obviously everybody's going to fan over him. But he stepped away. He didn't get stepped away. He decided it's not for me right now. Yeah,
exactly. Sometimes with Sam bands, it can be a problem. I think for me, 3 Days Grace is probably the biggest example for me. I was a massive fan of 3 Days Grace with their original singer. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And they're amazing. And then the new singer came along, and they've done 2-3 albums since he's been in, and it's just not the same. And what I'm watching live videos, and of them doing the older songs, and I'm just there like, no, you can't do it. You can't do it. You need to just say, look, that was then, this is us now, and work on what you're doing with the band, rather than trying to go back to glory days and try and do.
However, that can work in certain situations. So, best example, you think about Slash, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Look at what he's doing now with Miles Kennedy. From Alter Bridge.
Yeah.
They've been doing some of the Guns N' Roses stuff. So you're talking Sweet Child of Mine, you're talking Paradise City. To me, he's probably got one of the best voices, without a shadow of a doubt. When Ozzy Osbourne's turning around to you and saying, you have got the voice of an angel, that resonates with somebody, that you've got somebody special there.
Yeah.
And his voice is so good. And when he's singing, it's you shut up for a minute. Even the crowd. If you're there live and you're listening to him, they shut up. They're either singing along or they're fucking gobsmacked, to say the least. And for him to do, like, obviously the lead singer of Guns N' Roses were good, but wow.
Yeah, Miles Kennedy's a whole nother level. I'm a big fan of Alter Bridge as well. I haven't been able to see them live, but I saw a live video of them doing Blackbird, and literally,
was that Wembley?
Yeah. Literally, they started playing it. There was a bit of a cheer, and then about 10 seconds before everyone knew Miles Kennedy was about to start singing, everyone shut up, and it was completely silent, and you could just hear the band. And you know, the atmosphere from just that in a massive stadium.
Yeah,
it's just fantastic. Even just watching it on a video, I was just like, wow, I wish I was there.
They don't have to be amazingly talented to get a good crowd response. You look at Rob Zombie.
Yeah,
he's not the best singer, but he will always give 100% in his shows. And do you know what I mean? He gets a lot of respect within the music community because, fair enough, he will openly admit, listen, I am not the best singer, but the shows and the concerts he does, that people go to and be entertained, not to listen to the music.
Yeah.
He does have fans that listen to the music, but they're there to watch the show because he's a bit nuts, but he's very good.
Yeah. One of the bands that I was in before, we weren't a very good band. The music was awful. The lyrics were awful. We talked about some questionable stuff. And before I joined, there was like not a lot of energy. The bassist, a good friend of mine, was the energy, and then the other vocalists sort of just sit there and did vocals. And then I come in, the vocals got slightly better, but me and Ross were just there going, we need something to make this work. If we're not musically good and the lyrics aren't good, we need something. So we made a stage show. They always got out of control. Always. I remember my first gig with the band, we were literally playing to 5 people actually watching us, a few people at the bar, and then a few of my friends, and some other people sat on the sofas that were sort of socializing. So I decided, being me, for everyone that does know me, I'm quite a hype person. I like to bring the thunder. So people weren't watching us, so I took the show to them. The first thing I did is we had these 2 big bags of ball pit balls that we bought from Asda. I opened them up just slightly. I ran over to the sofa area. I front flipped onto the sofas on top of my friend, and then these ball pit balls just flew out across the whole of the venue. And everyone was just like turned around like, wait, what's just happened? And then at another gig, we added in an element for our shortest song being 43 seconds long. We got split the whole pub in half, wall of death, and we didn't carry on until there was a complete parting in the middle of the room. And we said, right, we've got this Xbox 360. We're going to put this right in the middle of this wall of death, and whoever wins and has hold of the Xbox at the end gets a free T-shirt. So it went nuts. It was a broken Xbox, and people were like fighting to the death for it. We did that. We did that twice at 2 gigs, and my mate won both of them. He was
that's dedication.
That is dedication. He won both. That's how dedicated he was. But just things like that, you know, it's like Rammstein. Rammstein musically aren't good, lyrically aren't amazing. But you look at the stage show, the pyrotechnics, the amount of effort they go into giant inflatable genitalia and things like that. It's absolutely mad.
I remember there was a show, I can't remember the band, but it was on BBC anyway. I think it was Reading and Leeds Festival. And there was this giant penis flying around, and one of the security guards took it. And the lead singer, I'm pretty sure it was Ollie Sykes. I'm positive it was.
Yeah.
And everybody's chanting, "We want our dick back. We want our dick back." And he went up to the security guard. He, like, obviously finished his song. He was having a bit of a war, so he went up and he went, "Give me the penis. Like, just give it to me." Anyway, and he's on stage and he's holding this penis up proper. Do you know what I mean? And it was just so good, and all the crowd were going nuts. And he just threw it back into the, and it was literally, and all you could see on camera is this penis flying across like the crowd, and just stuff like that is brilliant. Do you know? And fair play to him, because he was like, any other band, they'd probably be a bit annoyed that a penis is taking the limelight. But he was like, listen, this is real. Give me it. You
have to relish it. You have to relish it. And if I get back into music and get into a band and start touring and gigging again, stuff like that, I know is going to happen. And I'll just make it a part of the show. You've just got to...
You're in the Wolves. If the Wolves come and support you, they're gonna do something.
Yeah, especially some of the people that we know.
Yeah.
So it's
Captain Toothless.
Yeah,
Captain Toothless being prime example.
Yeah. So like, I'll just relish it. And I've always been like that. Whenever I've had a technical hiccup and like something hasn't gone quite right, I just like. So a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I'm really sorry." I'm just there like, it's all part of the show. Yeah, it's all part of the show. That was meant to happen.
Yeah. It was meant to happen.
Yeah. So
meant to happen. Yeah.
My friend Ross found it absolutely hilarious to get me to eat random things on stage and not tell me. So I turned up to the gig. I'd be there like, "What am I eating? What am I going to be eating on stage today?" He's just like, "That's a surprise." And then we'd get like halfway through the set and just random food would come out, and then
one chip challenge.
Yeah, and like one time, Ross pulled out this whole onion, full with the skin on and everything, and he just goes, "And Pat is going to be eating this onion." I just pulled it out of nowhere. I was just like, "How did you hide a whole onion from me?" I just like, it wasn't even a small onion. It was a big onion. It was a big onion, and so I took one bite out of it. I was just like, "Why have I just bitten into an onion?" And I just threw it into the crowd.
It could have been worse. It could have been a lemon.
Yeah, it could have been. But I remember once after I left the band, I'd still go into the gigs and supporting and that. They came up with a new song called "Hide the Marmite," and so the tradition carried on. So there was this jar of Marmite. So they gave me a spoon, they gave me the Marmite, got a massive spoon out and just shoved it in my mouth, and then had to run outside and spit it out because I was gonna throw up. Went back in, downed my pint, and then just went back into the mosh pit like nothing happened.
I couldn't think of anything worse.
Oh no, it was.
It's Marmite.
I am also an avid hater of Marmite, but I had to do it.
Disgusting.
It was just, it's one of those things. It's such a big part of my time in the band that I just had to do it.
Yeah, brilliant.
But yeah, hoping to get out there more. About 3/4 of the way through doing the solo album. Hopefully, once I've got that and I've got a better portfolio for myself, I can actively go out more and find the people that I want, rather than
Yeah.
trying to join a band that might not quite be what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just time now.
It is time consuming. Like finding people dedicated, like from the Wolves point of view, we do that as well. So finding people that are dedicated does take a lot of time. Like you look at it, we've been open 12 months and we're just starting getting people coming in that are dedicated.
Yeah.
So it is going to take you a bit of time to find them people, but you will get there. And I'm confident that you're going to do that. And obviously we've now got a music production team within Wolves, and obviously you're going to be helping with like vocals and guitar aspects. So
yeah,
big shout out to Young Ash, because he's very talented at making tracks.
yes.
So big shout out to him. But before we're running out of time now. We've only got 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a minute now. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to promote one song. Could be from any band. Okay, you've got to basically tell the audience now to listen to one band and why. One song. We're going to do it each.
Okay.
Your 60 seconds starts now.
So, guys, you need to go and check out Devin Townsend Project. You need to go and check out his song Kingdom, and it's specifically on YouTube. It is the EMG TV video for it. That is the best version he has done of that song. It shows this full range of vocals. It's a bit funny as well. He messed up a couple of times, so it's quite nice to get that. You get to see his full range. You get to see this a bit of the lighter side to metal. It's a bit more pop metal than it is heavy metal. But that is what you need to check out. Devin Townsend Project, Kingdom, EMG TV version.
Fair play. You did that in under 60 seconds. You still had 10 seconds left. Fair play. And mine is I'll go at the same time as you in 3, 2, 1. Right. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier. I am recently a Dreamcatcher fan. You need to check them out. They are very, very talented. I watched a concert of theirs on Saturday with my little sister. Live performance. They're probably one of the best bands I've ever seen. I started off with a song called Deja Vu, which is a bit more slow, and then it kicks in. But it's also a bit of a promotion on a game, and obviously I'm a gamer. Everybody that's coming to the channel is pretty much a gamer. But they are incredibly talented. Their lead singer, Sion, she is rated as the top 5 in Asia for vocals. She's ridiculous. She also did a cover of Paradise, which is from Aladdin, but Deja Vu is probably the best one to listen to, and then you can start spanning out into all their songs. But that is probably one of the most popular songs to listen to at the moment from them. And yeah, Jew is fantastic in that. She's fantastic in everything. But yeah, that's probably the one song I'd go for, 100%.
Awesome stuff.
Rev, anything from you before we end?
Make sure you going on to all the WWG socials, dropping a like, dropping a share, dropping a retweet, chucking on a comment, and put some funny memes on. Don't go too far.
Yeah, Rev.
Don't go too far.
Yeah, Rev.
And don't forget, promo stream Friday night. Your boy Revelation with Euro Truck Simulator 2.
You're not.
I am.
You're not.
I am. I'm doing Euro Truck Simulator 2, but it will be a drunk stream. So every time I crash or do something wrong, I will have to drink.
So I think we should do a bit of peer pressure now. Before he even starts the stream, he needs to shot 3 shots of Dead Man's Fingers, if any left.
I have. I've still got some left.
Fair enough. So he's doing 3 shots before we finish. But anyway, Rev, I'm going to let you promote yourself. Go on, promote yourself.
So as I'm pouring Dead Man's Finger, and I've got no mixer to drink it with. That's going to be so much fun. Head over to Twitch. Go to WWG_Revelation. I know it's a bit hard to spell. There is a 3 and a 4 in there. If you're unsure, message me and I'll give you the link.
It's there.
Or it's on screen right there.
There you go. Rev, thank you very much. Right. we are going to end the call. Well, not the call. We're going to end the show today, but there you go. Chin chin. So thank you very much for everybody that's watched today. Obviously, my name is Jordan Eaton. Obviously, go and follow all the Wolves. And there is the socials. Oh, that looked good. But amazing episode, obviously, chatting about music. We all love music. But thank you very much for watching. And until next time, see you soon.
Peace out.